In this problem, a prism of mass m1 rests on a horizontal surface. A bar of mass m2 is placed on the inclined surface of the prism. The inclined surface makes an angle alpha with the horizontal. We are asked to find the acceleration of the prism. Now, since there is no friction, once you release the system of these two blocks, the prism and the bar, the block or the bar, they are saying, so it will obviously move in the downward direction relative to the prism. So the prism gets pushed to the right side. So, okay, so the prism is anyway constrained to move horizontally towards right. Now, if I look at the free body diagram of the prism first, okay, so let's draw the free body diagram of the prism here. So, in solving Newton's laws of motion problems, getting a correct free body diagram is almost, let's say, you can say 70 to 80% of the job done. So, let us get the free body diagram here. So, let's draw the prism. Okay. So, the angle is alpha. Now, the way the bar and the prism are interacting with one another, the prism is supporting the bar by applying a force uh, perpendicular to the inclined surface. Okay, so this force applied by the prism on the bar is at right angles to the inclined surface. By invoking Newton's third law, we can say that the bar applies the same magnitude force in the opposite direction. So the bar is going to apply a force on the prism in this direction. So let's call this force N. Okay, it is usually called the normal reaction. So we can just say that force is N. Now, if I draw a horizontal line and then say that it is along the x-axis, okay, we know the prism will have acceleration in the positive x direction. So let's say the acceleration of the prism to the right is a1x. Okay, 1 corresponds to the prism and x corresponds to the horizontal direction. Now, we just have to figure out the forces that are in the horizontal direction. So if I look at this normal force, I can get its component along the horizontal line. So if I draw a tiny triangle here, so this component is what I am after. Okay, so if I resolve the normal force here, so I need to find the angle in this tiny triangle. So let's say this is alpha, so this angle is also alpha. The normal force makes an angle of 90 degrees with the inclined surface. So this angle right here, this is clearly 90 minus alpha. So here, if I take a component of the normal force along the horizontal line, so this tiny vector, the length of this vector will be proportional to n into cos of 90 minus theta, or let's say cos of 90 minus alpha, sorry. So this would be n into sine alpha. Now here we can start applying Newton's second law of motion. So Newton's second law of motion says that the net force acting on a particle is equal to mass of the particle into its acceleration. So here the prism is taken as a particle. So what is the force that is acting along the horizontal line? This is n sine alpha. Now that is equal to mass of the prism, which is m1, multiplied by the acceleration, which is a1x. Now let us look at the free body diagram of the bar placed on the inclined surface of the prism. So if I take a look at the forces acting on the bar, so this angle is given as alpha. So if I look at the bar, the earth is going to apply a force in the downward direction, which is m2 into g. So that's the gravitational force. Now if I look at the direction perpendicular to the incline, so Newton's third law dictates that the normal force will act in that direction. So this is because the force of same magnitude was applied by the bar on the prism. So you have this force acting on the bar by the prism here. Now even here we are interested in these two directions. Let's say the horizontal direction we are interested in. In addition to that, we are also interested in the vertical direction. Now clearly the bar slides on the prism as the prism moves towards the right. So we will take the horizontal direction as x-axis and the perpendicular direction as y-axis. Okay. Now if you look at the bar will have acceleration in the negative x direction as well as in the negative y direction, downwards. Okay, so let's say the horizontal direction, in the horizontal direction, let the magnitude of acceleration be a2x and the magnitude of acceleration in the vertical direction be a2y. Now the gravitational force, we don't have to take the components, but if you look at the normal force, we will have to resolve the force vector along x-axis and y-axis. So if I take its components, okay, so this angle right here, if you take this angle, so that angle will be alpha. So you can justify that here. So let's say this angle is alpha, so this angle will be alpha. And then if you look at this angle, so that is 90 degrees minus alpha. So you get this angle as alpha. So when you take these x and y directions, the normal force is making an angle of alpha with y-axis. Okay, so we can resolve the normal force vector along y-axis as well as x-axis. So the components clearly will be, along x-axis you have n sine alpha in the negative x direction, and in the positive y direction you will have n cos alpha. And then on the bar, in addition to the normal force, you also have the gravitational force acting in the downward direction. Okay, so here, so let's use Newton's second law. Along x-axis, so there is only one force, so which is n sine alpha. So I can write n sine alpha is equal to mass of the bar, which is m2, into acceleration, so a2x. Along y-axis, the acceleration is in the downward direction, a2y. So we are saying that the gravitational force should be greater than n cos alpha. Don't go with the length of the arrows that I have drawn here. I think this m2g, ideally we should draw it slightly longer than the n cos alpha. So here the gravitational force is dominating, so m2g minus n cos alpha, this is equal to m2 into acceleration in the y direction. Okay, so here if you look at the equations that we have, so we have this n sine alpha is equal to m1 into a1x. So there are two unknowns here. And we, in the process of solving for a1x, we have two more equations, but the trouble is we have two more unknowns, a2x and then a2y. So here, in order to completely solve this problem, we need one more equation, mathematically speaking. Okay, so how do we get that equation? So if you look at the bar sliding down the inclined surface of the prism, if you imagine there is a massless observer standing on the prism, so this guy is like, you can imagine, let's say this massless person. Okay, so he's there only to observe what is going on here. So if he looks at the bar is clearly moving down the incline. Okay, so we can use that fact to get the fourth equation. So what do I mean by here? So let's draw the picture here. So this is the prism. It makes an angle, the inclined surface makes an angle alpha with the horizontal. So at a certain point of time, let's say the bar is at this position. So at a later point in time, it will slide down to this new position. Okay, so if you look at any point on the bar, okay, so let's say I pick this point. So this point displaces to this position. Okay, so this is the displacement. So this vector represents the displacement of the bar relative to the prism. So this is observed by an observer standing on the prism. Okay, so our good old, let's say, massless observer here. So if you looks at this bar, so this is the displacement relative to the prism. Now in the, let's say, horizontal direction, the prism is moving to the right, whereas the bar is moving to the left. Okay, so if I write down the acceleration of the bar relative to the prism, which is given by this vector, this should be the sum of the accelerations. So the acceleration of the bar plus acceleration of the prism. Okay, now if I look at the vertical direction, the prism is not moving in the vertical direction, obviously, so only bar is coming down. So the acceleration of the bar relative to the ground, which is a2y, is also the acceleration of the bar relative to the prism. So if you take this triangle, every time the relative acceleration in the vertical direction and the relative acceleration in the horizontal direction should form the arms of a right triangle, and this angle is clearly alpha. So here, if I look at the geometry here, I can write tan alpha is equal to a2y divided by a2x plus a1x. Okay, so here if you, let's say, do the transpose, I get a2x plus a1x into, let's say we going to write this as sine alpha by cos alpha is equal to a2y. Now in order to solve this, what we can do is, if you look at the other equations, we have m2 into a2y and then m2 into a2x. So we can multiply either side by m2. So in that case we would get m2 into a2x plus m2 into a1x multiplied by sine alpha by cos alpha, and this is equal to m2 into a2y. Now we can substitute these values here. m2 into a2x is n sine alpha, so which we can substitute here. So here, okay, so this is n sine alpha plus m2 into a1x multiplied by sine alpha upon cos alpha. So that in turn is equal to m2 into a2y. So if you look at m2 into a2y, which is m2g minus n cos alpha. So we can write m2g minus n cos alpha. If you look at the first equation, so we have n sine alpha as m1 into a1x, so which we can use it here. Okay, so n sine alpha is m1 into a1x plus I have m2 into a1x multiplied by sine alpha upon cos alpha. So here on the right hand side I have m2g minus, so n sine alpha is m1 into a1x, so the value of n would be m1 into a1x by sine alpha, and then I'll just borrow this cos alpha here. Now I think we are almost done. Okay, so here if you take all these a1x terms to the left hand side, so what do we have here? So I have a1x, and then I have m1 into sine alpha by cos alpha, or I can write m1 plus m2 into sine alpha by cos alpha, m1 plus m2 multiplied by sine alpha upon cos alpha. Now from the right hand side, when I pull this second term to the left hand side, I will have m1 into cos alpha by sine alpha. So it will be plus m1 into cos alpha upon sine alpha, and then this is equal to m2g. Now here, so if you complete the algebra, so we get m1, so this would be sine square alpha plus m2 sine alpha, m2 sine square alpha, sorry, plus m1 into cos square alpha, and then in the denominator we have sine alpha into cos alpha. So this is equal to m2g. Now in the numerator, if you see the first term and the third term, I have sine square alpha plus cos square alpha, which we know it is 1. So we can write m1 plus m2 sine square alpha, so divided by sine alpha into cos alpha is m2g. So here finally the acceleration of the prism, which is a1x, will be m2g into sine alpha into cos alpha by m1 plus m2 sine square alpha. Okay, so I know this problem is quite lengthy, but if you pay attention to only the concepts, okay, so here the key is to get the free body diagram of the prism and the bar correctly, and also the constraint relation. So here we are able to get the acceleration of the bar relative to the prism, and then we were able to tie those accelerations with this angle alpha. So this analysis is often known as constraint analysis. Okay, so this is one thing that is really important to understand while solving problems related to Newton's laws of motion. So other than that, I think there is algebra everywhere. So with practice, I think you guys should be able to solve such problems. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this problem. So the final answer is here. Okay, so this is the acceleration of the prism in the horizontal direction.